What's going on, guys? Patch here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today we're going to be looking at this recent Bitcoin dump that we called in my last video. We're also going to be looking at altcoins dumping over 10% for some of them and some of them even more. So make sure you guys stay all the way until the end of the video because we have got a ton to cover. But before we start off, I do want to say that I've been texting a lot of you guys. You guys have texted me on my number. It's 917-634-3258. I'll try and remember to put it up on the screen so you guys can text me. We've had a ton of conversations about Bitcoin, about life, about business, about trading, all that different stuff. So if you guys want to text me, you guys want to ask me any questions, whatever it is, use that number down below and you will get a message sent directly to my phone and I will text you back, and that's just basically how it works. So adding another layer of communication, which I think is really cool. But without further ado, let's dive into the Bitcoin chart, the price, what exactly is going on. Recently, this dump came in on the daily time frame, and the reason this is so cool and the reason why this is such a nice dump to us is because we talked about this one on my, I think it was the last video I made. That last video I made, we talked about, this was around 2 days ago, it was on Monday. That was the exact day we talked about when Bitcoin's going up. We talked about Bitcoin looking like it could come back down because there were a few factors that we had to hit. And we're going to talk about those in just a little second as well. But on the daily time frame, we saw the bounce come up off of the level we are right now. EMA ribbon, still not much to talk about on the daily time frame. EMA ribbon, I always pull it up to show you guys, but there's really not as much to look at on the daily time frame. I'd much rather look at it on the 4 hour or the 1 hour where we actually have these trends of the EMA ribbon showing, right? So during this move to the upside, what you'll notice is we actually didn't have a lot of volume come in, and when we're seeing these kind of directional moves with no volume, it's something that we need to watch out for. And that's really why at this point, and you guys could draw this resistance a little bit different if you wanted to encompass this area over here. But the most important part was the bounce off of the support over here. Then it started leveling up, going to the higher end. This is where we could look at either entering a short for a rejection, or if we were going to play the breakout, play it that way. But it came back down, bounced again off of the support. So as of right now, the big key indicator here is, will we remain going up to this level to retest the resistance again, or are we going to break below this support? And the reason this is so important is because if we go again to the 1 hour to give you guys a more in-depth look, this pattern ends around the 14th of October in the morning. Now, anywhere from the 14th all the way up to like the 12th or the 13th, depending on how you drew it, that's where this pattern ends and it starts to get extremely narrow. So if we are going to see something happen, we can expect that to happen, and we should expect that to happen anytime before that. So that means it could happen today, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen the day after. Any one of these days, this breakout could happen, and we want to make sure we are in the best position possible in order to capitalize on these trades. So if that means a break to the downside, we want to set a potential order maybe so that we can come and enter a trade if there's a confirmed breakout. We want to look at the chart for the volume. We want to look for that confirmation, and then we want to ride this wave down all the way to potentially that CME futures gap at 9,665. Or if we do break above this EMA ribbon here and we start to head back to this resistance, and then maybe even look to break this resistance, what we want to be able to do is be in the right position to enter a solid entry with the volume and confirmation that we want. Obviously, volume being a big indicator on if it's going to be, a fake breakout before doing this, and when people are going to enter a short, there's going to be no volume. People are still going to enter a short here and they're going to get wrecked, or vice versa, right? Same thing here. If there's no volume, boom, people could just have something like this happen. People enter along and they get wrecked and they lose a ton of money, and that's obviously not what we're trying to do. I don't want that to happen to you guys. I don't want that to happen to me. So that's obviously why we're keeping that in mind. But EMA ribbon right now, what we're looking at here after breaking below with this candle to the downside, which again, hopefully you guys were able to capitalize on. If you were, congratulations. Let me know down below in the comments. And if you weren't, then let me know what the next play that you're looking to capitalize on is. So let me know that down below. But what we want to see right now is either rejection again off of the 1 hour EMA ribbon, or if we see something like this happen, right, where we start to follow that trend and have multiple bounces, then we might even see the rejection. Then we have the support here again, which is going to be a very narrow sort of trading range for Bitcoin to decide if it's going to be breaking below this, or if we are going to be breaking above and then going up to retest this resistance area up at the top. So keep an eye out on that, especially if you're looking for trades, if you're using any platform. I personally use Bybit. There's a link down below in the description where if you guys sign up, and deposit a certain amount. If you meet their deposit bonus, you get $90 for free, $90 for free to trade with, and all the profit that you make. So at 10x leverage, it's $900, almost a $1,000 trade, and all the profit that you make, say you make a 50% profit, all that profit can go straight to you, right? So it's a fantastic trade, it's a fantastic deal that Bybit is doing. So I highly recommend, if you want to take advantage of the moves that Bitcoin's making, take a look at capitalizing on being able to use that free money for trade and then withdraw the profits, because they allow you to withdraw the profits from the free trade, which is, most platforms do not do that. And that's something that I think is very, very beneficial. So that's sort of what we're looking at for Bitcoin right now, what we expect to happen. I thought at least over towards this area, I was a little more bearish than I was bullish, in terms of just not necessarily expressing it too much. We were playing the short-term trades, but in my mind, I was a little more bearish than I was bullish, and I was thinking that this drop was more probable. Now, however, with that continuation of the pattern, and it starts to get even to this narrower and narrower price range, at this point, I think we could break in either direction. If you guys watch the channel, you know me, and you know that I am not a fan of trying to predict all the way back here if I think Bitcoin's going to drop, break down below, or Bitcoin's going to break above, just to fulfill my ego of being correct. I would much rather, and this is why you compare people who make predictions versus people who trade successfully, I would much rather capitalize on getting into the right entries and making sure my trade is successful, versus entering a short here thinking that it's going to break out over here, break down over here, and then just getting my short messed up and then being wrong and then losing money, right? So always, always, always play based off the information that we're given in the market, play off what the market gives us. Never try to let your ego, never try to be the guy who's right, who's just has the correct prediction, because you're going to lose 9 times out of 10. And then that one time you're going to be right and you're going to brag about it, but your bank account goes down. So if your bank account's going down, all you're doing is bragging about it, you don't really have a lot to brag about, right? So that's the 1 hour time frame, what we're looking at in terms of Bitcoin. Keep in mind, this was the big player that we talked about, the big indicator that we talked about previously as well, was this CME futures gap. We obviously have the one that didn't fill yet at around 9,600, I think it was $9,650. I keep forgetting, because I forget to check exactly where it's at, because we're a little bit above it now. Until we get closer towards that range, we'll look at it again once that happens. But we had this CME futures gap come in on the 4 hour time frame. This one that I told you guys before, usually these things get filled sooner rather than later. Even though that last one didn't, since it didn't, the probability of this one getting filled sooner rather than later was increased, because the last one didn't, and very rarely does that not happen. So then we had this happen, so we trade a little bit upwards, but one big candle came up perfectly to close the CME futures gap. Now, 2 plays you could have had here. One was a short position in order to catch the closing of this, which is something that myself and our team entered, and I'll share with that in just a second, the exact trade we were in. Or what tends to happen a lot of the time is, once we do fill the gap, we have a little bit of a bounce. So even potentially entering a long position here was a worthwhile play if you missed this sell-off into the actual filling. That, plus the support that I showed you guys in the previous chart with the support that Bitcoin had, would have been a very good entry for us to make some profit. I was not in a long, but I was in a short all the way from up here. So the trade that I was in, to give you guys an idea of what I was looking at, what the entry that I had was, so that way you guys can use it for your own analysis as well. We had 2 trades. One was Bitcoin, one was Ethereum. Bitcoin trade right here, we entered on October 5th at around 1 to 2 p.m. my time. This is US Central Time. So that's these candles over here. It's going to vary depending on where you are, obviously, but our stop loss was set above here in case we had that breakout to the upside. We entered a short. From that, had a little bit of a move to the upside, which is fine. We entered our buy zone. We were able to dollar cost average into our trade, and then boom, came back down. I believe it's hit 2 out of 4 targets right now. Still open, still potential targets to be hit in case that does break down. However, we moved our stop loss into a comfortable, safe place, so that no matter what happens, if Bitcoin decides to shoot up to $20,000 tomorrow, our trade closes and we still made profit. That's the most important part. So setting your stop loss, moving your stop loss to the right position was a very big one there. And Ethereum, very, very similar. We had a short trade for Ethereum as well, a short position for Ethereum as well, entering right over here. These candles that you guys can see over here, again, October 5th, around 12 to 1 p.m. my time. Very similar times we enter both these trades. And again, Bitcoin and Ethereum, one of them usually leads the other. Which one leads is not always 100% certain. It used to be Bitcoin leads all the time. Now Ethereum sometimes makes a move first, and then Bitcoin kind of follows and makes that move a few days later. Well, that's the reason why we entered both of them, two opportunities to kind of manage our risk, splitting into two trades, but also we expected both of them to follow this pattern. And we entered here, didn't even have as much of a move up into filling several of our buy orders in order to dollar cost average in. We got in right over here, and then it traded a little bit here, and boom, it had this big sell-off. So even just from entering here to anywhere over here, all these, 3, 4, 5% trades that we could have capitalized on, with a 10x leverage, for example, that's a 30, 40% trade. If you put $1,000 in, that's like $400 back. Very easy, very straightforward. Again, you have to know what you're doing. And if you guys feel like you're missing out and you want to take advantage of the opportunities that this market has to offer, then make sure you check out the first link down below in the description for the cryptocurrency trailer group. I post every single one of the trades that myself and my expert team are entering in real time in this group. So if you're a complete beginner, if you don't have time to do technical analysis, or you simply don't know how to do technical analysis, you can copy our exact trades. We give you every single one of our altcoin trades, every single one of our leverage trades. You get access to the #1 community in the cryptocurrency space. But most importantly, for 14 days after you sign up, 2 weeks after you sign up, you get everything for free during that 2-week range. You'll see all of our trades. You'll see everything we enter. No holding anything back. We're gonna completely reveal the curtains. And if for some reason it doesn't work for you, you don't like it, no questions asked, you can simply cancel and you will avoid getting charged. So 2 weeks for free. A ton of you guys have joined and taken advantage during your free trial of these trades that I've been showing you guys, these extremely profitable trades, showing you that it works, showing you that myself and my team have been doing this successfully for a very long time. And for those of you who are not in there, I look forward to seeing you guys in there soon. But looking at altcoins really quick, altcoins just look at the last 24 hours, a lot of them are in the red. And even in the last week, a lot of them have suffered a lot. A lot of the ones that, some of the names that people have been talking about a lot over the last few weeks have suffered a ton. Some of them down up to like 35%. And the reason for that, if we look at the Bitcoin dominance, and we were eyeing this before, was this level where, this is the daily time frame, this level where Bitcoin dominance sort of broke below a trend line that it had drawn somewhere over here. It then came up to retest the resistance of the EMA ribbon. Looked like it had a fake breakout, right? Came back down to find support, but now it looks like we want to have a flip, and it had this one huge shoot up in the daily time frame, one big candle to the green, to the upside, which Bitcoin dominance going up, altcoins are suffering. So this range was perfect for altcoins to kind of have their fun, to mess around, to have nice gains that we were able to capitalize on. Now it looks like we might be entering, still need a little bit of confirmation, but this candle really did it for altcoins. It dropped a lot of altcoins, a lot of percentage points. So that's sort of why altcoins are doing that. What exactly we can expect to happen? Well, if this does flip and it starts to go on a pattern like this, then these down slopes, right, would be good for altcoins, these few day periods where altcoins are going to do well. But the overall trajectory, if Bitcoin dominance is going to keep going to the upside, is going to be altcoins having a little bit less success, a little bit slower moves, a little bit more stagnant versus Bitcoin, or even drop, right? Even potentially drop a lot of altcoins while Bitcoin decides to, make its move to the upside. Bitcoin dominance increase. The good thing is it's relatively bullish for Bitcoin, but it's relatively bearish for altcoins. So keep that in mind. Gonna maybe provide us with opportunities to buy into altcoins at lower rates, which is going to be something fantastic. But last but not least, I want to end this off by sharing the FCA bans crypto derivatives for retail consumers in the UK. This is one of those examples, again, where the government's telling you what is safe and not for you to invest in. And I get the idea behind it, where you want to make sure that people are safe. However, at the same time, I have the other side of me, which, being a business owner, being somebody who likes to take responsibility, to me, I don't like the idea of somebody telling me what to do. And I'm sure a lot of you guys be in crypto, you follow probably a very similar pattern. You don't like people telling you what to do. So to me, if I want to do it, then I want to do it. And the risk is on me to do it. And if I lose money trading, that's on me, and I can take responsibility for that. And I know a lot of people in the world cannot take responsibilities for their actions, and that's why obviously they kind of feel the need to do something like this. But I get both sides. I don't think they should be banning these type of trading platforms in any country, really. I don't think that should be the case. I don't think that's the right move. And if it's going to be bullish or bearish for Bitcoin, maybe a little more bearish in the short term, but long term, I really don't think this is going to be something a lot of people fixate on. And I think the long-term overall trajectory for crypto still looks overall pretty bullish. So I want to ask you guys really quick before we end off the video, let me know in the comments down below right now if you think that they should be allowed to tell people what they can and can't do, or if you, like me, are somebody who likes to take responsibility for yourself and you will do what you want to do, but if it doesn't go well, you are willing to own up to that and you're willing to take responsibility for it. So let me know that in the comments down below. That's gonna be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, don't forget, leave a thumbs up. Tell me down below in the comments what your thoughts are, and make sure you are subscribed with your notification bell turned on so you can stay updated with all the future videos that we have. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on Friday for another video.